Hi there guys, this is Chris Coney speaking. Welcome to today's episode of the Cryptoverse. Yes, I've got a bit of a sore throat. Did a personal growth workshop over the last 3 or 4 days and had somewhat of a breakthrough, and now some health issues are coming up. That's the way it works. If you don't understand how that works, check out the Meta Health Academy, which will explain how, when we have psychological and emotional breakthroughs, it creates health issues and the meaning behind that. So that's a whole nother story, but I'm just telling you, I expected this. So today, if the shot looks a bit different, it's because I'm shooting with the sunlight. There's no studio lights on. Generally, natural light looks a lot better, so we'll go with that. I'm also just straight up chilling today with, all the au naturel, because the content is more important than anything. So let's get into some of that. We're going to do a technical analysis segment, and then we're going to do some snap answers to some audience questions, and then we're going to go through 3 different news stories that I picked out for today that I think are interesting. So let's begin with the technical analysis portion. So the first thing I want to talk about is the BTC USD chart. So let me share the old screen here. Let's go over to Trading View, BTC USD, get the price feed from Coinbase, and let's put it on a 1-day view. This is going to be pretty short because the same thing's happening, right? We've got the long-term downtrending channel. That's the first thing. That's the market direction remains in place in a bearish direction overall. And then again, you see my white channel here is slowly grinding lower and lower and lower. It's pretty much perfect though. Look at the lows. The lows continue to hang on to the bottom of this channel. Again, all below all the moving averages, so nothing's really changed on this. There's no point in just harping on about it. The whole general market direction is continuing to gradually slide down back towards the lows of around 3,000. On top of that, another note I've made here is if we look at volume, if we make volume full screen here, the grey bars are the daily volume individually, but then the blue area is the 20-day average. So if I draw a trend line like that and then change the settings here to take off the extension, we can see that if I also thicken it up a bit, definitely this is going in a downward direction as well, right? You can see that, can't you? If I even put it in red, it's definitely, the average volume is sliding down and down and down. So that's something else to note. So that's pretty much Bitcoin, US dollar. Nothing more to say about that. Well, as Bitcoin goes, so does the market go. That's the way I see it. One thing I thought is that we must have hit the bottom and started turning up because Doug Polka's put out a video for the first time in like 2 months, and that's significant. So when the market turned, he just disappeared. So that's what some people do, Let's have a look at BNB, the Binance coin, because that's been going mental recently. I said the other day when Holochain went mental, I sold some on a parabolic move. So let's have a look at BNB on Binance. Let's look at it against Bitcoin. Look at that. That's pretty sweet. If you've got some Binance coin, you might want to take a look at that. If we look at a wider view, though, this is here. This is December of 2017. So overall, the Binance coin had a bit of a rocket in 2018, or towards mid-2018, held onto its price pretty well, was in an uptrend anyway. I already had a mini trend line here, and now it's steepened something chronic. So I actually don't know why this is, to be honest. So let me know in the comments below if you know what's causing this. I dare say that it was, like not the Tron, the BitTorrent thing. But that doesn't actually make any sense, does it? Because the airdrop for BTT, the BitTorrent token, was on Tron holders. It was just that people were trading Tron against BNB, and they were trading BitTorrent against Tron and against the BNB token during the ICO. So why the sudden confidence in the BNB token? I do not know. So let me know that, if you would, in the comments below, and then I'll share it with everybody. Speaking of Holochain, though, let's go back to the charts, because Holochain is holding on to its price gains. Let's do hot BTC, hot BTC from Binance. So I showed you this chart a little while ago, didn't I? When I saw the parabolic move, sold at the dotted line, and then it pulled right back by about 30 or 40%. And as you can see from yesterday's candle, the high went back to exactly where I sold it, which was 41 Satoshis. So what's interesting, it hasn't done a massive dump after the pump. It's holding on to quite a lot of its gains. If we use the measuring tool here from where so consolidation down here, so from where that began, it went all the way up to like a high of 169% gain. I sold it once it had gone up about 139%, and now it's still holding on to like 110% of the gains from where it was consolidating. So still a lot of confidence in Holochain. It wasn't just a pump and dump. So I'm glad that I followed my rules anyway. That was the important thing about that. What else? Hold on to the token. Oh, yeah, let's look at BTT, the old BitTorrent token against Bitcoin. Again, what surprises me about this, let's just have a look at the hourly chart, so there's some more data here. I would expect, in these market conditions, to have an ICO do a post-ICO pump and dump, whereas it absolutely has not. The first day was a bit erratic, as you can see, from that sort of hanging doji candle there, Dragonfly. But after that, it's gone up quite a bit. So let's have a look. From first listing, if we measure it, it went up to get a gain of, let me just move this out of the way because the OHLC numbers were in the way. It went up to gain 130%, and it's given some of those gains back from the opening, but now we're looking at a 70% gain from the post-ICO launch on the exchange. I mean, and that's a surprise to me because, like I say, in these market conditions, people who bought in the ICO cheaply, I would expect them to want to dump it as soon as they possibly can for a profit. That probably explains the pullback from the all-time high there, but it's holding on. It's holding on. One other thing to note here is that the candles are really flat, and that's because of volume, right? If we have a look at BTT against, say, Tether, they're a bit smoother, but it follows the same price pattern, you know. So I didn't participate in the BitTorrent ICO. I didn't know what to expect from it, to be perfectly honest. I watched it sell out in like, I don't know, less than a day, which was pretty amazing. But what I didn't like was the token distribution. There was a lot of tokens being given away to the team and advisors and this and that and the other, and only a small allocation to the public sale. So that worries me a little bit. There's a lot of people who got tokens for free that would want to liquidate them. So that's why I thought I'll just observe this, right? Well, let's move on now to what I posted. I was thinking yesterday, what video shall I do tomorrow? And then I thought I'll ask you guys. And you did sort of make some suggestions, but a lot of them were like really like general. So let's have a look at some of them. So I said, what would you love me to make a video on tomorrow, Wednesday? Please comment. Someone said like security issues on the blockchain network, the biggest ones or the biggest hacks. I mean, that would be like an hour video. Someone said they prefer to just watch whatever I come up with, and that's the challenge, really, isn't it? Bringing information to your awareness, like what I'm picking out to show you versus what you want to know about. It's kind of an impossible balancing act to that. Someone said, I'm interested in, as a newbie, if you bought some BTT, how do you extract profit during the next bull run? So that takes me back to, if you watch some of my previous videos, like is Bitcoin going to 1,000? If you look at the I believe in crypto, so I'd sold some video, check that out. That actually contains the answer to that question in terms of having trading rules. You make decisions before the bull run, and then you just follow them, like I did with Holochain. So go back to my I believe in crypto, so I sold some video, and that's the answer to that question. Next one says, hi Chris, keep up the good work, or good job. It's appreciated. I suggest, if appropriate, proof of work versus proof of stake pro-con debates. Well, okay, that's all down to how do you avoid a cartel controlling a network. With proof of work, if you've got enough money, capital, you can buy enough mining equipment and then get a huge amount of hash power. You can also spend it on electricity and control the network that way. However, still economics plays into that in the sense that you still want to spend less than you earn, naturally. With proof of stake, I always this is oversimplified, but when I think of proof of stake and I explain it to people for the first time just as an introduction, I say, okay, well, proof of stake, the concern is that you can buy the vote. Because number of tokens equals number of votes equals power in the network, if you've got enough money outside of crypto, you can buy enough of the token and then, control the vote. However, the reflexivity of that, which is a philosophical phrase where our participation in reality actually changes reality, with proof of stake, your own participation in the market of starting to buy the proof of stake coin will start to push the price up and make it infinitely more expensive for you to continue to buy tokens, thereby preventing you from getting an overwhelming amount of tokens. So those are the major pros and cons. There is still no clear winner. It seems the industry is sort of trending towards proof of stake. More chains seem to be going that way. So that's where we're going. That's not to say it's better or worse. It just seems to be the way we're going. Like the EOS and the Trons of the world are sticking with their proof of stake sort of a system, and even Hedera Hashgraph has that kind of a system where there's no proof of work here. Moving on, someone says, Pantera Capital and Coinbase back a startup called Staked. Would like to know more about it, and particularly if they're offering services to institutional retail investors. And they post a Cointelegraph link. Startup Coinbase backing with $45 million round of investments. Okay, I haven't actually looked into that yet, so I'll have to skip over that. All great videos. I prefer quality over quantity. Do what you got to do. So that's another person that's saying, just create a video and then put it out. So what bothers me about that though is sometimes I put in hours and hours and hours into a video and it gets like 1,000 views, which is what happened to my crypto news review video. I spent like 6 or 7 hours making that. It didn't take long to record. It took a long time to research. The recording's the simple bit, but editing and putting the animations on and all that, it was like 6 hours. Put it up, 1,500 views, and that's just I can't make a living with that kind of a thing. So that's one of the plights of doing what I do. And then finally, someone says, as a game designer who knows web development, but less about crypto, I'd like to know how, or mainly if it's possible to turn an in-game currency into a tradable currency outside of my app. Well, yeah, of course. I would say head on over to the Ivan on Tech Academy and take Ivan's blockchain programming courses, and then through that you'll learn Ethereum, you'll learn EOS, and I think it's NEM programming as well. So that in there, if you learn that, if you're already a web developer, you know how to code, so that's good. If you go to Ivan on Tech Academy, learn how to code blockchain tokens, and then that will answer your question. So rather than me making a video about it, that's the way to go. It's not just a YouTube video to answer that. You need to actually learn blockchain programming. All right, that's all for the quick answers. Let's move on to the news section. So the first one is that there's this thing like passing the Bitcoin torch. So you may have heard of this, but the reason I'm talking about it is because Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, has got involved in it. This is like a little pass the parcel thing where an amount of Bitcoin is passed from one person to another through the Lightning Network. And every time someone receives it, they add a bit of money to it and then pass it on. So that's how Lightning channels work, right? If you send me 0.1 Bitcoin, that's now on my end of the channel. If I then load an extra 0.01 Bitcoin onto it, then I can then forward that on to someone else. And that's the way it's been going. And it's been increasing the whole time. So this Cointelegraph article says, Bitcoin community celebrates as Twitter CEO joins the Lightning Network relay. And Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, got it. And then he forwarded it on to, I think it was Elizabeth Stark, the CEO of Lightning Labs. So this is cool. So what does it say here? Jack Dorsey, also the founder of CEO of mobile payments company Square, was nominated as participating an entrepreneur and Bitcoin commentator, what's his name? Matt Odell, commented in a tweet about Jack Dorsey and so on. So that's that story there. Well, why does this matter? Well, it means that Jack Dorsey is, it's on his radar, the whole Bitcoin situation. And what's the probability of Twitter doing something with Bitcoin? More so if it's top of mind, right? We don't want Jack Dorsey thinking that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are this thing just out in the periphery. The more it can be brought to his attention and the more he understands about it, the better. That's the thing. Often the reason people ignore crypto is because they don't know enough about it to see the profundity of it. So that's why, while this is a reasonably innocent news story about seemingly nothing, it's one of those things where making impressions on people like Jack Dorsey are good in the long run. So there's this other story about this Quadra CX Canadian Bitcoin exchange that's gone bankrupt or filing for bankruptcy protection. Granted, apparently, according to Bitcoin Magazine, says court grants Quadrica CX bankruptcy protection. And apparently, according to this article, the CEO died and had the only private key or only access to the cold storage. So it says here, like on the 14th of January, this story basically came up where Gerald Cotton had apparently died in India on the 9th of December with complications from Crohn's disease. And news website CoinDesk offered what appears to be a copy from the Indian government of his death certificate, although his name is misspelled. So that raises suspicion, doesn't it? Then it says here, more than a month after Cohen's death, the exchange announced that he was the only person that had access to the exchange's cold wallet, effectively locking up the exchange funds in an offline wallet that allegedly no one else at the company has access to. And then it says here, In the petition to the Nova Scotia court, it claimed that they didn't have access to wallets containing $137 million in US dollars value of cryptocurrency owned by an estimated 115,000 users. Wow. So the guy allegedly has taken the private key to this cryptocurrency to his grave. So this is a gross failing in the internal processes of this exchange. I mean, we, even with our small crypto holdings individually, freak out about how we back up our seed phrases and whether we put them in a safe or whether we split them across 2 continents and so on. Imagine if you had $137 million of other people's cryptocurrency, and then you were just relying on a single person's private key. Just not good, is it? I mean, it's still alleged right now, so because it's in court, so that's why you have to say alleged. But very interesting stuff, isn't it? Now, some of the people are going to be like, well, this is highly suspicious. This is an exit scam, blah, 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 blah. But that's why it's going through the court system. So for now, it's been granted bankruptcy protection. We'll see what else arises as the court goes through. Oh, this is another thing I made in my notes here. Is this is one of the facts about being an unregulated industry. I'm not for or against regulation, but I mean, like, if cryptocurrency exchanges had to be regulated, they wouldn't have allowed them to have such poor security practices. That's the thing about regulation. It brings guidelines and it brings a minimum standard of operating procedures to an industry. So yes, it creates red tape, but it's a tick list of, do you meet this minimum criteria to protect users' funds? So fine, we can have a completely unregulated industry. However, it leaves it open to things like this. So what do we want? We get to decide individually. What do you want? Do you want to leave it unregulated and potentially have exchanges like this go under because they lose the only private key to $137 million worth of crypto? Or do we want to have some regulation come in and then have across the board regulation of cryptocurrency exchanges? Now, you might say, well, what about decentralized exchanges? That's surely the answer. Well, it still doesn't, it's the same problem, because if they're unregulated decentralized exchanges and there's a flaw in the smart contract and they get stolen, you're in the same boat. You've got no way to recover it at all and no accountability to anybody. So that's that. So that's no different than having an unregulated centralized exchange, really. There's still a security problem there. Or you can have regulated decentralized exchanges so that there's no trust issue, but then you've got the regulatory hurdles, and some company behind the decentralized exchange is going to have to jump through the hoops. So let me know what you think to all that down in the comments below. See if you can stimulate my thinking here. And finally, speaking of regulation, this really got my attention. The Kick ICO is going to fight the SEC against their token being considered a security. So this has been reported in a few different news outlets, but I'm going to reference F News, where it says, Kick prepares to defend its ICO against SEC allegations. So this is very interesting. So Kick was a reasonably large ICO back in 2017. It's an ERC20 compliant Ethereum token. It says here, in September of 2017, Kick's ICO raised $100 million. Whoa, that's a big one. So like we were saying, in 2017 and all that craziness was going on and all the unregulated ICOs were crackulating, the first thing to do is make sure you watch the video that I created called The Truth About ICOs in 2019 and Beyond, where I basically say don't participate in an ICO unless you want the project to succeed or you want the actual token for its utility. That's it. But don't speculate on them, because that just keeps you clear of this kind of thing. Now, if the SEC had confidence that people were only buying for those two reasons, they wouldn't have any problem. But they suspect that most people are buying into ICOs because they want to make money. And that's why the whole security token thing exists. So Kick are like, SEC is like, right, let's have a look here. Is the Kick token a security? Kick's like, no, and we'll defend it in court. Okay. And this is no ordinary court case because of the size of Kick's ICO. I'm also going to refer to the Weiss. I just confused Juan with Weiss there. So here's the email from last week from Weiss Cryptocurrency Ratings. This is Juan Villaverde, who does the newsletters. That's why I got the two words mixed up. And I liked what he wrote here. Melodrama and uncertainty are normal for markets, and both have been in the news lately in abundant supply. In the past week, for example, messaging giant Kick is going to battle with the SEC The SEC alleges that the KIC ICO token, the KIN, is an unregistered security, but KIC is no bit player. It's one of the largest messaging apps. So they've got clout. This is why this is significant. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. It says here, this is the first time a major cryptocurrency is directly challenging SEC Chairman Jay Clayton's declaration when he said, quote, "Every ICO I've seen is a security and therefore subject to regulation." KIC is like, no, they're drawing a line in the sand. And if they've liquidated some of that $100 million, they've got the cash to fight it. So there we jolly well go. Also, by the way, I am a big fan of the Wise Cryptocurrency Ratings thing. So I'm going to put my affiliate link for that in the description of this video. And if you want to sign up for it, it's like $40 a month or something. And every week you get ratings of cryptocurrencies and so on. You get newsletters like that where Juan writes about what's going on in the industry and things like that. I find it incredibly valuable. I can't keep up with everything. He's a smart guy. I trust him, and I like to get his newsletters and read his insights. And also, of course, if you sign up through my affiliate link, that's going to make me some money, which I need to do because I like doing this and I like to make it sustainable. Okay, I don't like having to, try and bend myself this way and that way to make some kind of video that gets tons of views. Right? It's a balancing act between providing, an authentic view of the way I see crypto, and then it just not ever getting any exposure and not being sustainable. So, that's just an ongoing challenge for a content creator. So, recommending things like that, which I think are genuinely valuable and will also help to support me at the same time. I think that's the win-win right there. All right, well, that is pretty much all I've got for you today. So if you like this episode, please go ahead, hit that like button, share it with a friend if you liked it. Give me a comment down below with some feedback. Let me know what else you want me to cover in future videos, or if you just want me to fish stuff out of the crypto space. Let me know what you think to the natural light. Now we're coming out of winter. Well, at some point we'll come out of winter. Maybe I can do more natural light videos. The other way I make this whole thing sustainable, of course, is that I have an online school called Cryptoversity. You can go to cryptoasset.school and sign up for a $1 for 3-day trial, and then it's $59 a month if you want to continue your membership. And I've got 7 online courses all about cryptocurrencies, trading, investing, and so on. If you want to support me in another way, you can become a patron. If you go to the Cryptoverse website, it's thecryptoverse.show. And then if you click on support the show, then you can support me with a monthly pledge of whatever, $1, $5, $10, $15. And there's perks based on how much you pledge. But I would really like to just chill out more about this whole thing, because I do get incredibly stressed about this whole cryptocurrency space. Not because the prices are down. I get stressed by the obsession with trying to make it sustainable, and that just stresses me out, because I want to provide the value, but I just want more people to support it so that I can be assured that I can make it sustainable, and then I can just create. That's what I really want to do. So if you can support me in that, I really, really would appreciate it. But that is all I've got for you today. I'll be back with the next episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, I'm looking for the right button. It's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.